my style. Champions, we stand out loud. Records break when I appear. Work been.
Welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you're doing well. It's Saturday and we've got lots and lots to talk about. We've, of course, got the Leeds game tomorrow, 12:30 kickoff. We're doing a watch-along, so make sure you hit that subscribe so you can join us with the watch-along. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a big game, a must-win game for Man United. Obviously, every game is a must-win game, but we've got lots to talk about. We're going to do the preview show later on tonight, around about 9:30. Let me know if you want it any earlier, but around that time, I'm going to be doing the preview show. So let me know what you think of that, and let me know your thoughts on the game. But we've got lots to discuss before then. Oh my God. Where do I start? Where do I start, man? United and stories and the news coming out is just non-stop, and of course it's to do with Ruben Amorim. In the last week or so, we've all been discussing Ruben Amorim and his future at United, and it looks like the board have turned on him. From what we're getting from the news, reports are suggesting that the board, there's Wilcox, Omar Barada, Christopher Vivell, all are turning on and blaming Ruben Amorim for what's going on at United. Partly, I've always said, look, I agree. Ruben Amorim is not doing a good enough job out on the pitch. However, let's look at it from Ruben Amorim's perspective. We all saw the press conference yesterday. He looks like a man that they've allowed to drown. They've thrown him in the deep end and they're not helping him. They're not going out there and making any signings. Let's be honest, Ruben Amorim wanted a centre mid in the summer. They never gave him that. In fact, he wanted two. They never gave him that. And then now, when the going gets tough, and he really desperately needs more players to come in the January transfer window, all of us, all fans can accept whatever our thought process is on United currently, whether they're doing good, whether they're doing bad, whether Ruben Amorim's doing good or bad. Forget all that. Park that for a minute. Park that to a side for a minute. I don't think I've met anybody, any fan, who's turned around to me and said, we don't need to go in the January transfer window and sign more players. That is clear. Every fan is in the same position. Everyone is in agreement. All the fans are in agreement. Man United fans are in agreement that we need to go and sign players. But after yesterday's press conference from Ruben Amorim, wow, it put the cat amongst the pigeon there. I mean, look, he blatantly said it. He just blatantly said, there's no signings. There's no signings. As far as he's aware, no one's leaving the club. And as far as he's aware, no one's coming in. Now, at one point, I thought maybe he's just kind of pulling the wool over everyone's eyes, smoke screen. Ruben Amorim at his best, he does that, says one thing, does another. Maybe the club's working behind the scenes, going after lots of different signings. But what we're actually hearing from sources close to Man United is that is actually the case. United are not in deep negotiations with any one party for any player. Yes, they've made the inquiries and blah, 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 but there's no concrete negotiations going on with any players' representatives. That, for me, is a huge, huge worry. It's a huge worry when I know that we're probably one or two players away from at least getting into them Champions League spots. At least kind of getting to the position that we want to be. It's not great. Obviously, we'd love to be challenging for the Premier League, especially with this year where so much is going wrong for so much big clubs as well. So we've got a chance that teams around us are not doing too well. We saw Man City draw again. We saw Liverpool draw. This is the opportunity. We're not going to get any better opportunity than this year to actually make sure we can qualify for the Champions League and get back in there. But what I'm reading, what the reports are suggesting is that Omar Barada, Wilcox, the main man, Jason Wilcox, is the guy who has essentially leaked, someone's leaked this information out to the press saying that the board is not happy with Ruben Amorim. They're not happy with what he's doing on the pitch, his formation system, whatever it is. They're not happy with it. And yeah, they're essentially blaming him for everything that's gone wrong at Old Trafford. But we know it's not just him. And I've said it to you many times. I've said, look, yeah, Ruben Amorim's to blame for tactical issues on the pitch. But that doesn't cover everything. That is not just the only problem at United. We all know that we've got good enough players to go and beat Wolves. So why didn't they? And this is not before, whilst Ruben Amorim's here. This is not the first time we've seen these players down tools. We've seen him consistently do this for several managers now. So it is, of course, the recruitment. It is, of course, the owners going out there and pulling their fingers out and saying, right, we need to replace the whole squad wholesale. We need to go out there and get at least 8, 9 different players. But yet every summer comes, every transfer window comes, and we hear the same shit time and time again. We ain't got the money. We ain't got the money. There are no plans. And it just shocks Man United fans, including me. I'm sat there thinking, of course we're going to go in hard in January. We're going to go in and buy big-time players because we need them. We need these players. And yet, you start hearing from Ruben Amorim, and you could see, I felt sorry for Ruben Amorim. I really did. Now, I'm 50-50 with Ruben Amorim. I've said to you many times, I like Ruben Amorim. I like the way he comes across. I think he's honest. I feel like he's honest. But I still feel like he is learning on the job. He's not got the experience needed to run a club like Man United. I feel like tactically he's slightly inept. He needs to learn how to make changes quick, make the right changes. I think he needs to be flexible. I think he's digging a hole for himself when he keeps saying, I'm only going to play 3 at the back. This is the system I know, and that's all, and blah, blah, blah. He makes it hard for himself. And others like Jason Wilcox have a clear, easy in on how to take Ruben Amorim down. And that's what it looks like they're doing right now. They're sowing that seed. So when it comes to it, they can cut ties with Ruben Amorim with ease without actually making a big fuss. They'll say, well, look, we told you so. We've for months have been talking about this. Now, I think it's going to be end of the season. It's not going to be like we've just seen with Chelsea manager going in mid-season. No, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they know there'll be too much criticism. I think they're going to let Amorim be the fall guy for the January transfer window as well. They're clearly not going to back him, but they're going to blame it on Amorim and say, well, he said he didn't need anybody. And Ruben Amorim is walking right into it because he, as a manager, needs to be aware of this. Now, he, of course, has said, look, we're not going to sign anybody. But you could see from his face that, wait, there's more to this. There's more to this. He's actually trying to send a message out to those people who know and who have seen this story before. We've seen this play out many times before. We've seen how Ineos and the Glazers have left managers out to dry. And Ruben Amorim is another case in point. It is happening once again, guys. It's happening once again. He's been left out to dry. And to be honest with you, I know there's going to be lots of fans out there who are going to say, well, he's to blame. He's to blame. He himself is the one. He's not made life easy for himself. He's gone out there and stuck with his formation, his tactics, and he's kind of talked the big talk, and he's backed Ineos. But then again, look, this is what happens. If he starts talking out against Ineos like the Chelsea manager did, look what happened to him. Boom, chop, off he goes. He's out. That's exactly what you'd get with Ruben Amorim. Immediately, as soon as he speaks up against the owners. And that's why, as fans, we need to wake up. We need to wake up and realise that the club is being ran by the Glazers and Ineos. They are the ones to blame. If we want anyone to go and leave immediately at all, the first people to leave for me would be the owners. Get the hell out of here because you're simply not backing the club. You're not actually giving us what we want, which is we want bloody funds. We want money. We want to be playing on level. We want to be on a level playing field with the likes of Arsenal and Chelsea and Cities and Liverpool. Why are we not on level playing field? Why can we not go out there and sign bloody players in January? Why? It's just nonsensical. How can you support a club that's not willing to put their money down and improve things? I cannot take this shit about we don't need to go out there and sign new players. I think even the most simplest fan, the fan that really doesn't look deep into United, doesn't go and analyse tactically what's going on at United, even he or she would be able to tell you that we need to go out there and strengthen this squad. No one can tell me, no, I don't, you know, if someone comes on and tells me we don't need to sign more players, I won't believe, I don't believe they won't even watch, they don't even watch United play. They don't watch United play. They don't have a clue about who's on our bench and who's not. Because we are struggling. Amorim is struggling and he's been left out to dry. I said to you, this is the biggest test for Ineos. This will tell us whether Ineos are any different from the Glazers or whether we are being gaslit. We're being gaslit by Ineos, who've come in as partners in the Glazer ownership. They've come in and they want to take over and help the Glazers. That's all they were there for. They were never part of coming in and actually revolutionising Man United and getting the Glazers out. It was always a big plan, a ploy to keep the Glazers at United. And I really do feel that. I really right now, if things are going as they are, I'm telling you, we're in deep shit. Because we've now got two owners exactly the same. We've got the Glazers, and we thought, right, okay, that's hard to contend with. But now we have got the English version of the Glazers also sat at the club. And I'd argue that he's worse. I'd argue he is worse because he does not give a shit about even the protests. He doesn't care about Man United fans going out on the streets, kicking off about his ownership and not getting any funds and all that. And then there's even bigger questions about the stadium, about where we're going. Where are we going in the future? Where's he taking us? Where's Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe taking us? It's just crazy. But there is an absolute civil war happening right now behind the scenes at United. It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. And I believe more and more reports will start coming out about how there's a power struggle, how there is problems where Ruben Amorim's asking for players. It was clear. I think the first game or two into the Premier League, I remember a press conference where Ruben Amorim insinuated that, look, you guys, as in the press and the fans, don't know what's actually going on behind the scenes. And that was to a question when it was something to do with the midfield and needing more players and needing a midfielder. And he said, well, look, you guys don't know what's actually going on. For me, that was a hint at, look, I've been pushing for new players, but the board haven't backed me and haven't bought players in. That's what I think. Let me go to the chat quickly. I know there's quite a few of you jumping on and having your say, and I want more people. Everyone who's watching, have your say. Let me know. It takes a few seconds to type something in, and comments are open to everybody. You don't have to be a subscriber, although I do like those who subscribe and become part of this Man United community. And of course, we're growing every day. It's huge. I thank you for everyone's support, by the way. It's amazing to watch everyone just joining the community and becoming a together fan base. Look, we all have different opinions. There'll be people who will say Amorim out, some will say Amorim in, some will say, you know, they like Dallo, some will say they hate Dallo, some will say they like Jason Wilcox and Ineos. There will be, trust me, there's people out there who even like the bloody Glazers. But anyway, let's go out, let's check what is going on. Travis, fantastic breakdown of Amorim's presser. He's gone, he knows he's being sat, just towing the Ineos line so he can get his redundancy. Absolutely niche. Niche, now, those of you who don't know Niche has been one who's called out Amorim time and time again, and I respect his viewpoint. Not necessarily, I don't agree fully with him, but I also respect where he's coming from. I do agree with parts of what he's saying, and even he is saying that Amorim is being left out to dry, and he is towing the line. It was so obvious. It was so obvious yesterday. You could see a broken man in front of us. That this wasn't the usual Ruben Amorim, full of confidence, full of enthusiasm for the club. He looked broke, man. He looked out of it. And Ruben Amorim, this is why I've liked Ruben Amorim from day one. It's because I think he wears his heart on his sleeve. You see, what he's like. That's Ruben Amorim, and he's emotional. You see that, and of course, there's a negative side to that. You don't want your manager to be that emotional, but at the same time, you see what he is actually going through, and he doesn't hide anything. He doesn't hide the fact that this is a problem. This is an issue, right? Barada and Wilcox need to go. Let's have a reset. Obviously, we can get rid of the top con men. Look, I agree. I'm not a fan of Wilcox. I swear I'm not. I just feel like, what's he bringing to the table? What's he actually doing? I'm not a big fan of him. Barada as well. I mean, yes, he's worked at Man City, but what else? What's he actually doing at United? What's he improving? I can't see anything. I just feel like they just sat there. They've brought in Ruben Amorim, of course. They want things to work, but as soon as things turn sour, they jump ship. They're jumping ship, guys. This is the first of many. I think the presser yesterday was the first opening of the floodgates, right? This was the first inkling we got where United are going to go into this January transfer window and they might end up not signing anybody or might make one minor signing. If I was a betting guy, I would say they might go and make like a one signing of a youngster, like 16, 17-year-old, someone like Diego Leon, someone who for the future, they hype it up. They're like, yeah, we've gone and signed somebody and he's a youngster and they're bringing him. That's what I think they're going to do. And then they're going to sell that to the rest of us like, yes, look, do you know what? We've gone and signed somebody. Look, we're making moves. But that is absolute gaslighting at its best. That is bullshit. They are absolutely telling us that they're not backing Ruben Amorim. And I've said it time and time again. The reason why I hold off on criticising Ruben Amorim to the degree that others might do is because I feel like he's not been given the players. So I can't really judge him. I criticise him. You know me on the channel. Call it as it is. I'm not someone who's there being supported by Man United or whatever. I'm not going to succumb to that. I'm going to call it like it is. Even if Ruben Amorim's, I like Ruben Amorim, I'm still going to hold him to account for what he's doing at United. I'm not going to use my bias to overcome and distract the fans from what he's doing as a manager. So yes, I like Ruben Amorim. I don't make any qualms about that. I don't hide that. I've said it from day one. I think Ruben Amorim's great. However, I still want to hold him to account. I still will say, look, Ruben, you did this wrong. You did that wrong. You did this wrong. You need to have a better win rate. It's not good enough. It's simply not good enough. We're not winning enough matches under Ruben Amorim, and he needs to fix that. And whether that means changing the team around, and I'm not happy with the way he plays with his system, and he sticks with it. Whether it's burning down or not, he still sticks with it, and I don't like that. I really don't like that. Bruno Fernandes, playing him in the centre mid is just reckless. We need to be playing him up further up the pitch. So yeah, definitely think that is the case. Anish says Amorim hasn't been backed, but I bet he told then he could win with the players we've got. We can win the game. Bollocks. Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? I agree. I bet you they've sat down with him and said, oh, do you know what, Ruben? You've got enough players to go and do the job. You've got enough players to go and do the job in the Premier League. We don't need for you to buy any more players. We don't want to buy any more players. We've gone out there. We've bought the players we need to. Now do what you need to do. That's what I think they're telling him behind the scenes. Happy New Year, Travis, Jim, and Nish. Sandil, welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Happy New Year, man. It seems like it's already happened so quickly, and it's already we're talking about transfers and this whole chaos at United, and it is chaos. It is chaos because you look over at other clubs and they're quietly doing the business, quietly signing players, quietly building on their performances, building on their teams. There's no hoo-ha. Yeah, obviously Chelsea, but apart from Chelsea, everyone else seems like they know what they're doing. We're talking about Liverpool now looking for more signings as well. These teams that are doing well and then are going and signing more players, why would they be doing that? Why can't they say to Slot or Pep, carry on? Why can't they say to Arteta, no, carry on. Your team's doing well. We don't need to go out and sign more players. Why are we going to waste more money when you're okay, when you're actually succeeding, your team's doing well. You're a top manager. Go ahead. You've got years of experience in the Premier League. Why are the boards backing these managers? Yet we've got a manager who's got a year into his job, and yet the board is not backing him. Yet he's absolutely adamant he needs centre midfield players. He said it time and time again. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that we need to go out there and sign players. A midfielder. And I bet you, if we get rid of Amorim, the new manager, whoever it is, comes in and he'll say the same thing. He'll say, I need centre mid players. I need new players. Crazy stuff. Amorim is not going to be backed. The substitute he makes during games, as he shows that this guy did not know how to read the game. Mark my words, Amorim is going to show exit the door by the end of the season. Do you know what? I agree. I agree with you. Do you know what? It is obvious now. It's become obvious. I've said my criticism of Ruben Amorim has always been the same thing, and you've said it right now, Sanis, which is that he just simply makes the wrong calls at the wrong bloody time. It's so obvious. It's just crazy. It's crazy that we can sit here and we can all agree that there are issues. There are issues at United, but we can also agree that he's not getting any backing. Whether we're Amorim in or out is not the question right now. I agree that there's going to be different opinions on that. There'll be some fans who are like, Amorim out. There's some fans who are Amorim in. Don't get rid of him. Carry on with him. But we all can agree. We all, 100% of us agree that he's not getting the backing. He's not getting the backing. I'm speechless. Sandal says, I'm speechless, guys. We can't beat Wolves at Old Trafford. We can't beat Everton at Old Trafford with 10 men. Guys, really speechless. Well, this is it. This is it. Who's to blame, though? Is it just one person? I won't blame Ruben Amorim alone, because there's no way Ruben Amorim is telling his players to go out there and defend deep against Wolverhampton Wanderers, the worst Premier League team I've seen in recent years. I swear, man, I look at them and I think, oh my God, they're so shit. I mean, literally, you could play amateur side and you could still look to win against them. That's how I feel. Like, every time I look at them, I think, no way is this going to be a difficult game for us. But we made them look bloody good. We were defending so deep against them. And I remember we were watching it together and we were saying, there's 6-7 defenders behind the ball in a line defending against Wolves. Just heads gone, man, heads gone. And obviously the players are to blame as well. The players are not good. They're just simply not fit for purpose. But I blame Ruben Amorim for that as well, because I feel like, well, if you're playing them out of position, they're going to be even shitter, aren't they? They're going to be even shitter. If we don't do anything in January, we will start to fall down the league. We will end up under 10th. Yeah, I agree, Jim. I agree. And this is my worry. My worry is that we end up just falling down the table as time goes by, and we as fans start accepting it. Like we accept right now our fate right now. We're like, oh yeah, do you know what? It's okay. We're doing better than last year. But we're not going to. We're not going to, because I keep telling you guys that the teams around us will click. They'll click and they'll start winning back to back. There'll be teams that'll win. The usual suspects will get their shit together. If we're expecting Chelsea, Liverpool and the likes of all these teams still to carry on losing throughout the season, it's wishful thinking. It is wishful thinking. We hope that teams around us carry on losing. But I'm telling you guys, we will struggle. We will struggle. And as you say, Jim, we're gonna struggle. We're going to start dropping places because we haven't got the squad. And there's no one who can sit here and tell me, oh, right, okay, but we've got injuries and once they get back, we'll be a better team. There's no guarantee of that. No guarantee of our players coming back and hitting the ground running. I've said it to you. Right now, I'm even worried about Bruno Fernandes coming back and playing like he used to play. Because once a player gets injured and he starts picking up injuries, and he's at that point of his career where injuries, they come thick and fast. They come thick and fast. So if Bruno Fernandes becomes a player who starts picking up injuries, number one, he loses value. Number two, we're up shit's creek without our best players. We're absolutely going to struggle. Santos, welcome to the show, mate. Remember that Amorim's agent is Jorge Mendes, so he won't be out of a job for long. No, he won't be. Look, Amorim's got the basics to be a very, very good manager. I'm not gonna even deny it. I think he's very good at what he does. The only issue is that even the formation that he wants to play, and the club knew this. Let's actually rewind a little bit. Let's talk about Ruben Amorim first, okay? So, civil war going on. Ruben Amorim's been left out to dry. He's been thrown to the dogs. And now it's a matter of time whether, what happens in the January transfer window and what happens after that. If he doesn't get the players that he's requested, let's be honest, Ruben Amorim's gone at the end of the season. There's no way that he's going to survive. At the end of the season, he's going to walk. Either he's going to walk or they're going to sack him. One or the other. If the January transfer window ends up bringing nobody to support Ruben Amorim and his team. So, let's go back to when they appointed Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim has already told the fans and told the press and told the media that when I was approached by Man United, I told them I'm going to play my 3 at the back formation. That's what I know. That's what I know works. And I'm going to play that formation. So I will need the players to fit that formation. Now, Omar Barada, who was the head of the negotiations for bringing in Ruben Amorim, agreed with everything. They licked his backside. They said, yes, Ruben, whatever you ask for, you will get. Just come to United. Drop everything at Sporting. Don't carry on with the season. Don't go and win another league title. Leave that and jump ship now. In the middle of everything. When you're flying high, drop everything and join Man United, please. Halfway through the season. And Ruben Amorim said, no, look, I can't. I don't want to. I'll come at the end of the season and you get your shit together, you get your money together, and we need to go out there and buy a team that can play this formation. Anyway, come halfway through the season, of course, he joins United, and we know what happened then. It was an absolute shit show. It was absolutely horrendous football we watched. And then that was... They sold the idea to him. Ineos sold the idea that, look, come the summer, we're going to give you all the players that you need to play this formation, the way you want to play, the wing-backs that you need, the world-class wing-backs that you need in this formation, the midfielder that you need in this formation. We're going to give you that. We're going to go and buy Premier League proven 10s. We're going to go and buy Premier League proven striker, and you will have your team to cook. Come the summer transfer window, bang, bullshit, no backing, no players, nothing. You got nothing. I don't give a crap what anyone else thinks. This is what's happened. It's obvious. He's been left out to dry, and now he's been asked to cook with a team that is not good enough to play in the formation that he wants to play. The wing-backs are non-existent. We're bloody playing Ahmad, for God's sake, our best attacking player in right wing-back. He's been wasted. He's been wasted there. We all have to accept that. Look at what he's doing for his international team. That's sending a message back to Ruben Amorim and the Man United board. You fools! You fools! Look what I'm doing. I'm cooking. I'm one of the best young strikers or attackers in Europe right now. And look what you're doing. You're playing me at right wing back. But look, is it Amorim's fault that he hasn't got the squad of players to choose from? That's the problem. You've got to look at what's going on behind the scenes. Anyway, enough of my rant. Let's go back to the chat because there's some really good points being made here. Remember, so Jorge Mendes, his agent, good point there. Santos, of course, came in there first time. Make sure you hit that subscribe as well. It's nice to hear from new fans. Amorim will succeed elsewhere, but he needs to be in another league. He won't make it in the Prem. He's damaged goods. Do you know what? I think that for me, I don't feel like the 3 at the back in the Prem works. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, so if he goes to Sporting or if he goes to any other league, I think he'll do well. He'll do well. In the Premier League, you just can't play that formation. That's what I think anyway. It's clear as day. Amorim can't get the best out of his team. With that said, if they don't want to back him, they should surely part ways with him. Dave, welcome to the channel again, mate. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a nice weekend. Hope you're ready for tomorrow's game. Yeah, it is. it's clear that they're just simply not going to back him. And Amorim, it's clear, is not getting the best out of these players. He's not. He's playing them in whatever formation, position that he wants to, but they just can't play in that. I mean, the Wolves game, that is a slap across the face. And everyone at United should be worried. Everybody. That's why I do not get fans who are still coming out and saying, oh no, Ruben Amorim is still good enough for the job. And we have to blindly, trust him. And I'm saying, no, that's not the right approach. Yes, he's good at aspects, but we cannot refuse or fail to call out what he's getting wrong. And there's a lot he's getting wrong. And I said it at the post-match, a review of the Wolves game, and I said, the players are shit, right? We accept that. But we also have to accept that the manager should be able to get enough out of these players to beat a shitty Wolves team, right? To beat one of the worst Premier League teams we've seen. A team that only got 2 points before they met us, and we gifted them with a 3rd point, a late Christmas present on an early New Year's Day present, whatever, yeah? It's clear as day, yeah, it is. The problem is, Amorim's system is that it works out of effort and commitment to the game and the badge. These players don't even come out to the pitch sweating, boom. Absolutely right, man. Absolutely. This is what I've been saying. This is my point. The players don't give a shit about Amorim's system. They don't really want to work. These guys are the same players that we've had down in tools for different managers. This is what they like. They don't give a shit about Ruben Amorim's career. They don't care. They don't want to sweat out there. They don't want to work hard. The system that Ruben Amorim wants to play requires absolute commitment, absolute workhorses, and he hasn't got them in this team. We've got players who like jogging around. They don't want to give it their all. So, yeah, of course, Ruben Amorim is not getting that. I prefer Glasner. Look, there's lots of different managers I look at and think, and I'm being honest here. I'm being honest. There's lots of different managers I look at and think, would he be able to come in right now and do a better job than Ruben Amorim? And there's a number of managers that I look at and think, yes, they can. They can come out and they can get this team, this shitty team right now, or players that we've got at United. And I don't care, there are players in there that are good, but there's still the usual suspects that we all know that the team has to carry. The players that we've got in this team that we have to carry. And of course, we end up screwing over ourselves because of the players that we have in to carry. Dave, another thing which is also an issue, we don't really trust Ineos to get an appropriate managerial signing that would change how we play and improve us. Yeah, because look, you're right. Good point, Dave, because what we're going to get with Ineos is we're going to get Ineos coming in and they're going to bring in somebody who's a yes man. They need a yes man. And the moment Amorim steps out of line and says, I'm not a yes man. I need this, and they're not giving it to me. It's about time. I think he was close yesterday, wasn't he? I mean, let's be honest. Apart from saying the obvious, you could see on his face what he was saying when he said point blank, no, there's no signings, January. I mean, everyone in the room just went into shock mode. Even the press didn't know what to do with it. I'm sure he's going to get more questions in the lead up to the Leeds game in the pre-match press conference there. I'm sure he's going to get asked again what's going on in new signings. But we know nowadays managers actually don't really discuss that anyway. So they just say, well, look, I'm not talking about signings, so I'm talking about the team that we've got, blah, blah, blah. Jim's completely right. If we don't buy January, we're going to be 10th. And we are 5 points off of 14th. Exactly. Do you know the table this year is so deceptive? It's so deceptive. A couple of wins can shoot you up, and a couple of losses can take you right back down, where you don't want to be. where you don't want to be. And that's why when we're playing these games against Wolves and I'm absolutely losing my shit and going crazy, and some of you might be thinking, what's wrong with Travis? Why is he going ape with just a draw at Wolves? The reason why I'm absolutely losing my shit is because I know how important them 2 points will be and could be for United going forward. And let's just start looking at how many points we've dropped in recent games, which will be crucial. I'm telling you, we're going to come to the end of the season and we're going to be talking about, oh my God, what if we won this team? What if we could have done something against Everton, the 10 men against Everton, right? What if we could have won at Spurs? What if we could have won at Nottingham? These are the games. These are the games that we've all witnessed and thought, oh my God, the Bournemouth game as well, right? The 4-4. What the flip has been going on? Really crazy stuff right now. Maybe it's just the players perform better in training sessions and are lost in the games. I don't think so. I really don't, Santos. Do you know why? Because we see what Ruben Amorim says every game, pre-game, pre-match. Before we go into a game, he says, we're just going to have to wait and see what team turns up. How can a manager sit there and say, I don't know, I don't have any confidence in what type of team's going to turn up and what type of game we're going to get out of these players? Remember, Ruben Amorim is the one who said this is the shittest Man United team in history. I mean, what changed? Apart from a few players, the other players are still there. He still thinks that they're shittest players ever to grace that United shirt. So, yeah, look, we've got to take him at his word. He's telling us they're shit. I don't trust him. I don't trust whatever I'm sending out there. From now till March, the games are so tricky. We're going to get signings. If we don't get signings, we'll easily finish at the bottom half of the table again. Dave, I hope not, man. This is my worst nightmare. I mean, last season, it was just crushing. It was soul crushing to watch United competing for nothing, working for nothing, playing for nothing. As fans, we deserve better. We deserve to be at least competing. We're not asking for trophies. We're not saying, give us the Premier League trophy, are we? We're simply saying, compete. Just give us something to look forward to, something to brag about, something to say, right, okay, we're in the Champions League spots. Just give us that. But it's obvious. It's obvious to anybody who watches football that if we don't go out there and make a few key signings in January, we might as well give up now. And it does come back down to the owners. It does not. The managers. No way is the manager Ruben Amorim saying to Ineos, I don't want any more players. Thank you. Oh, don't give me any more players. Thank you very much. I'm more than happy with my due here. I'm really happy with what I've got. I don't need another striker. I'm happy with Sesko. I don't need another midfielder. I'd rather play Ugarte there, and I've got Casemiro, and I've got Bruno Fernandes, and I'm more than happy with that. Do you really think he's saying that? Of course he's not. Of course he's not. Looking back, Grimsby was a massive red flag. I hope Amorim walks with his pride intact, and maybe Mendes can arrange a job for him and he can go now. I think the Grimsby game was the one moment I really, truly, honestly believed that he's going to walk. I really thought, right, okay, the guy's had enough. He's had enough and he's going to walk. The only reason why I believe that he's probably stuck around is because he realises it's too early in the season and he's given up on his project and going elsewhere. Other clubs might question his commitment to the club if he's walking away from Man United so early on in the season. So that was the only reason. But I think if he was someone who was like, say, mid-season or we'd played many other games and that the performances were that bad, I think he would have walked. I think he would walk. I still believe that if the performances get to a stage and he's still not getting the backing from the board, he'll walk. He's a man of pride. Let's be honest. Ruben Amorim is a man who, like I say, wears his heart on the sleeve and, says things as we want to hear him. He knows what the fans want to hear. Waiting for Blaber now. Liverpool want him. We'll end up with no one. Oh, yeah. Well, look, the Blaber news is absolutely concrete. Do not be fooled by this news that Liverpool are not after Blaber. I've heard from, I was speaking to someone else who has a Liverpool fan channel, and he was telling me, look, he's got sources within Liverpool, and they've said they never backed away from Blaber. They always have had him on the radar, and they're going to go for him. They will go for him. And the fact that Semenyo fell through, or is more or less looking like it's fallen through their fingers, and he's going to Man City. They're going to go in hard. They're going to go in hard, and they're not going to waste any time in signing the players that they need to bring. So, yeah, I mean, I've told you many times, if anyone else comes in for Blaber whilst we're looking at Blaber, we're out of it. We're out of that race, because we're not going to compete, man. We're not going to compete because we've got owners who can't afford to fix the leaking roofs of Man United, right? Old Trafford. They can't fix the leaking roofs. They don't give it. They won't be looking at Blaber. Do you know what it is? We've got, in Ineos, we've got the perfect PR machine. What they do is they know exactly how to play the British media. They know exactly who to leak the news to, what to say, and what is going to work with the fans and what isn't. So they play like nobody else can. The Glazers were absolutely terrible at that. The Glazers thought that as long as they stay quiet, they can get away with everything. But Ineos are a different, whole different proposition. Ineos know exactly how to put the news out there. And they will put the news out there that Man United are looking at Blaber. They made an offer for Semenyo. They were that close in signing Semenyo, and they were going to go and sign this player and that player and this player. And it makes you feel like United and Ineos are making moves. But bullshit, are they making moves? They're not making any moves. And Ruben Amorim's lifted the lid on that. That's why they've put out the news today. Is it a coincidence that Ruben Amorim lifts the lid on Ineos not looking to sign anybody yesterday in the press conference? So he said, we're not looking to sign anybody. We're not bringing anybody in, and no one's leaving. Point blank. A face like, you could see his face. He was unhappy. So he's lifted the lid on Ineos, and Ineos next day, boom, they release news that they're not happy with Ruben Amorim and what he's doing with the team and formation, and they're not happy with his three at the back, and they feel like it's not working and he's not getting the best out of the players and everything else, i.e. angling to get rid of Ruben Amorim, or sending him a message saying two can play at that game, right? So if you want to throw us to the Wolves, we're going to do the same. If you are going to lift the lid on us not backing you, we're going to do the same. We're going to say you're a shit manager. We're going to ruin your career as well. That's why the civil war is going on right now behind the scenes. This is why we've got huge problems when we should be united in going and signing players and making moves and improving this United team so we can go and actually fight for the Champions League spots. We're absolutely divided. And that all is down to the owners. Do you know all these players who've left United? They all say the same thing. The structure is a complete shit show. The structure is a complete shit show. United have no clue. Where do you think that structure lies? Who do you think dictates everything? It's the bloody owners. The owners sit on top of the pyramid. They control everything beneath them. They're the ones who appoint people. They're the ones who dictate the whole atmosphere and everything that's going on at United. And if the owners don't give a shit, or they deliberately sabotage things with managers, with players, well then, yeah, this is what you get. This is what you get. We have issues. We absolutely do. I was so confident Blaber was coming in January. We already agreed to sign him. What are we waiting for? I bet it's because Blaber will make Amorim's team better, and then sacking him is harder. Look, I suspect what we've got with Blaber deal is that Ineos are not 100% convinced with Ruben Amorim, and hence why they're thinking, do we commit more money to a manager that we're going to end up sacking anyway, and therefore what's the point bringing in Blaber? That's what I think they're doing. I think they're doing that because they're hesitant now on bringing any more players in. And They haven't got the money. They haven't got the money. They haven't got the money. That's the problem. In the past few months, Brighton have been so eager to let Baleba leave. They're just keeping the issues with him under the radar to preserve his value. We ought to get the deal done. Absolutely, man. Just like Nish said, I was convinced from what I've been hearing from Brighton and Baleba. Look what he's flipping doing out there in the AFCON, yeah? I was like, right, it's slam dunk, this one. This is happening 100%. I mean, this is so obvious that he's downed his tools at Brighton and he wants out. And Brighton, with United knocking on the door, having already agreed personal terms with Baleba and having Baleba already told Brighton that he wants to join Man United and only Man United, you'd think that this deal will get done. I mean, it was like the obvious deal that I thought, okay, if all else fails, we're going to get Baleba in January. But that right now seems like it's in real danger. Like Jim just said, Liverpool look like they have taken over United and are going to sabotage or at least try and hijack the Baleba deal. And if Baleba gets any kind of hint that United haven't got the money to put down on the deal, what do you think he's going to do? What do you think his representatives are going to do? What do you think his agent's going to tell Baleba? No, sit here and wait for Man United to turn up, or jump ship and join Liverpool, who are actually putting the money down on you. Brada and Wilcox, do we have to pay them for? What do we pay them for? Absolutely jack shit. That's what we sit there and watch the game. That's what we're paying for. I'm actually travelling back tomorrow. I won't be able to go to the game. I hope we get the 2-0 win, but 2-1 I'd also take. Look, I'd take any win. 1-0, anyhow. We get this win, but I'm worried. I'm worried because Leeds looked pretty organised against Liverpool away from home, right? So I'm worried. I'm worried about United being able to cope with Leeds and the way he's going to change it up. And we saw them changing it up against Liverpool. He kind of surprised them with his selection, and I think he's going to do the same with United. I think they know exactly what buttons to press against United. They know how United are going to play. United are pretty weak in conceding goals, and that's our big problem right now. Hamis, welcome, mate. Hope you're well. Do you think Amorim will resign if they don't back him? Look, I can see it happening. Because, like I say, Amorim is a man full of pride. He believes in himself. And if he feels like they're not going to back him or they're not giving him the right players that he's asked for and the job is not getting done, of course, I think he's gonna pull a Marasca. He's gonna do what not most managers, top managers will do. They'll say, right, I'm not getting the flipping back in, I'm off. You promised me something that you're not delivering. You promised me a team that I could play in this system, and you're not giving me that team. You're not putting the funds down to bring in the players. It's obvious that he will have to make that decision. The only issue I have there is whether he's worried about his bonus, his payoff. If he walks, he doesn't get the payoff, and if there's a danger of not getting another job, and again, if a manager walks, there's sometimes a new club might be thinking, do we want to take a manager who walks out of the job? Things like that may have an effect, but I can see him doing it. I certainly can. I can see him walking away if Ineos are going to play this kind of game with him. A game which is obvious now to everyone to see, where they're leaking information the day after he kind of lifts the lid about not signing any players. I don't think he will resign. He wants the compensation. I understand that. Southgate incoming, do not say that, Niche. Guaranteed he would suit Ineos perfectly. Do you know what? Ineos, if they get rid of Amorim, they are going to bring another yes man. They're going to bring in somebody who toes the line. That's what they like. We've seen Jim Ratcliffe. He got rid of what's his name, man? Our sporting director at the time. I can't remember his name, man. Flipping someone put it in the comments, man. Who was it? Dan Ashworth. That's it, Dan Ashworth. He got rid of Dan Ashworth, sporting director. We literally paid compensation to Newcastle to take him off their hands. We were like, oh, look, come on, join us, please. Here we go. We paid Newcastle off. I can't remember how much the compensation was, but I think it was in the region of 7 mil we paid just to bring him to United. He was there for 3 months and we got rid of him. Who do you think got rid of him? It was Jim Ratcliffe. Jim Ratcliffe, because he wasn't a yes man to Jim Ratcliffe. He didn't agree with everything. So Dan Ashworth, actually, when it came to appointing a new manager, he said, "Look, we need to do this. We need to." He wasn't on the same page as the rest of them. And Jim Ratcliffe said, "Well, you're not a yes man. Off you go. See you later. I need yes man." These are billionaire egos that we're having to deal with here. They're all egotistical. All want everyone to bow down to them and say you're the greatest ever. And Jim Ratcliffe isn't anything different. He's no different from the Glazers. Kaweku, I hope I pronounced that right. I'll just say Ghana. That's it, Ghana. I'll say Ghana. What has Amorim done to deserve this goodwill? As a performance, we have been poor. Amorim will just say he is emotional and apologise. He should go at the end of the season. Well, at this rate, he is going at the end of the season. He is going. If you want to hear that, if it carries on like this, he's going at the end of the season without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. He will either walk or he'll get the sack. One or the other. But it looks like the writing's already on the wall now when it comes to Ruben Amorim's future. It's probably out of the fans' hands, even those fans who want him out and those fans who don't want him out. To be honest with you, a bigger game is at play here. A bigger game about money, millions of pounds. Who's going to invest it? Where and how? Whether these owners, Ineos, are really the real deal. So far, not likely. Not likely. Sandil says, if we get Blaber and Diomande, top 4 is guaranteed. They are both cooking at Ofcom. Yeah, they are, man. They are. They are both looking very good. Diomande, do you know what? I'm gonna make a call on him right now. I have been hearing news that Spurs are looking at him very carefully. So make what you want of that. But yeah, it's another signing, isn't it, Sandil? That we're gonna watch go beneath our fingertips, and we're just gonna kind of like, we're interested. What's that famous? There's a word that they use. Whenever it comes to players and United, it's like United have shown interest in this player. United have shown interest. And what the flip does that mean? United have shown interest. We hear that so many times. United have shown interest, and then we lose the bloody player. Monitoring, that's it. Boylo, yeah, that's the word. Monitoring, that's it. Oh my God. I knew it's a word that I keep flipping reading every day, and I think, what a load of bullshit. What does that word actually mean? What does it mean? Monitoring what? What are you flipping monitoring? Either you're in or you're out of that player. Either you want him or either you don't. Monitoring. We're watching him going off to other clubs. We're watching players being signed by Man City, and we're watching players being signed by Liverpool. That's monitoring. We're monitoring the situation. Oh, just put it out there, guys. We're monitoring the situation. Leak out to the press. Man United are monitoring Diomande's situation. What the fuck does that mean? What does it mean? Monitoring. Absolute shopping. Yeah, window shopping. Yes, exactly, Boylo. Window flipping shopping. I said this a couple of days ago. I said, United are window shopping, and what they tell everybody else, the Man United fans, is, oh yeah, we're actually looking at this player, but that means nothing. They don't actually do anything. They don't put in any offers. They don't do anything constructive. There's nothing behind what they say. The absolute gaslighters, man. The absolute gaslighters. And we're, as fans, we've now become experienced. We're good at this game now, guys. We're good at this game. As Man United fans, we have worked this shit out. We're the best at it, actually. I think we're the best. We're the top of the Premier League as a fan base who knows when we're getting gaslit. And because we've had so much experience with the Glazers and now with Ineos, we know exactly when someone is taking us for a ride. And right now, all the fan base can see that Ineos are taking us for a ride. They're taking us on a window shopping trip. Oh, come on, join us, guys. Come and join us. We're going to go across looking at all these players. Because we're Man United. We're going to go and sign all these players. But I'll tell you what, we'll come along. We'll go and sign these players. We'll go and monitor these players and then watch them being signed by all the best clubs all around Europe, bar Man United. And then we end up picking up the pieces. Look, in recent years, it's obvious. Any player that other teams have come in for, United lose that battle. United lose that battle. Unless we get lucky and the player says he wants to join us, like with Sesko and Mbumo and even Kuna. Also, can't lie, people expecting signings need to study Ineos. The Nice team have fired their manager. Ineos don't have their affairs in order. Thank you very much. I said this about 3-4 weeks ago. I said this exact point. I said, Ineos, if you want any indication of what Ineos are, just look at their history. Look at what they're doing with Nice. Look at what they've done with a club that they've been sole owners of, 100% owners. It's not where you can argue that the Glazers are putting their foot in and telling them, you can't do this, you can't do that. Nice is under 100% ownership of Ineos. Look what we have to come. Look at what they're doing. I've said it to you guys many times. Ineos walked in with a CV of absolute failure. They put it down and said, let us take over United. Because look at our CV. We've failed at every other place that we've owned. We've failed in every other sporting venture that we've gone into. Ineos are shit, guys. They're a shit show. In everything that they touch falls apart. And United, why are we as fans expecting anything different from Ineos? I have no idea. It's a really good point there made there. Really, really good point. Hold on, guys. Let me just pause this for a moment. Whoa. My whole studio's falling apart there. What is going on? I need to go on these comments. Right. Ineos don't run Nice anymore. They stepped from day-to-day running of the club quite a long time ago. Yeah, they still own them, though. They're still there. They're still having to fund them, right? They're still having to pay in to this club. I know lots of Nice fans are absolutely pissed off with Ineos, and they're saying, look, they need them out. They need them out. If we don't get Blaber, it's completely over. This is a player who only wants Man United, apparently. Well, do you know what? I'm telling you, if we don't get Blaber, there's going to be riots, man. There's going to be protests outside Old Trafford. There has to be. Because we're being told what we kind of had an inkling of already. We knew this is coming, guys. This is the big test for Ineos. I've said it many times before. This January transfer window will tell us everything we need to know about Ineos. I'm not sure. I agree with that take, pal. Ineos are building a squad for the future, not geared towards any one coach manager. They want to build a squad that's the right manager can come in and work with. I hope that is the case. Now, I've been the one who's been saying that a long time. Even before Amorim, I said, look, we can't build a squad for any one manager. We need to build a team and a philosophy that Man United play by, and then we get the right manager to come in and do that job. So it doesn't matter who the manager is, he comes in and slots into the philosophy of the club. So the team is always ever consistent, because we've seen it. We can't get rid of 22 players. However, I can't see that being the case with Amorim. I believe Ineos have brought him on and said, you do what you need to do. We'll go with whatever you want to play like. They've not told him, we want to play United way and you're going to play our way. It's the other way around. That's my take on it. The way I look at United, I would have loved for them to do that. I really would have. I've said it many times. The reason why United keep on failing is because we're buying in players for a certain manager. And as soon as we get rid of the manager, them players become surplus to requirements. Them players that we've brought in to play that one system or suit that one manager's style of play, they become surplus to requirements for the new manager. The new manager comes in and he says, I don't like that player. I don't like that player either. I don't want him. I want a whole new 11 players. And United can't afford to go back out and clear out an entire squad and buy in another set of players. It just does not work. That's why I think for longevity, we bring in the players that suit United, but then who's going to make that call? You need to have people above the manager who know their football, who know how to build teams. I do not believe Wilcox or Barada are them guys. I really don't. Let me know if you disagree with that. I don't know. I mean, with me, I look at Wilcox and I think the guy, I don't even know what he's actually doing fully. You know, there's talk about him liking the four at the back, but so what then? You should be telling Amorim. Why is Amorim every press conference saying, I'm going to play the way I'm going to play? The team has to suit me. That's really a good point. Blaber must be thinking we haven't Man United been on the phone to Brighton January 1st. We're a laughing stock. We will be. I think the problem we've got is we're gonna end up struggling if we don't make these players feel like they wanted. If these players get an inkling that these players are not actually United don't want me. But then there's the likes of Liverpool who are calling up and want me. We could end up losing the Baleba signing. Right now, he is ours to take. It is obvious from the noises we've heard from Brighton, from what we've heard from Baleba's camp as well, that United have promised Baleba that we're going to come in and sign you. We're going to come in and get you. Hence why Baleba's head has been totally turned and he's already dreaming about playing for United. I like that guy on TikTok worth of Meta Ray-Bans. He walks into a Ferrari and pretends to want to buy the car. Yeah. Yeah, Conman FC under Ineos. We've got... So Jim probably interviewed Barada. Interviewed Barada and said, I want a con man. We're going to rinse the club and lie to spotters. And we've got problems, man. We've got problems with Ineos, without a doubt. Ibrahim, welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Travis, big up, bro. You did hear Ineos? Did you hear Ineos 18 billion debt and they could be out of business and are trying to get money from the UK government? I really hope Premier League and FA can get rid. You know what? Ineos have recently, this is like business news, nothing to do with football, but it links in because Ineos obviously have businesses out of football. Their main business is in petroleum and stuff like that, and they've been having to get rid of lots of assets. So yeah, I don't know how much that's affecting the pocket of Ineos, but they have got rid of lots of assets and they're trying to downsize things and things like that. So you might be right. And the obvious one is the stadium. The stadium. So we know there's a stadium proposed to be built. We know we've seen the plans. Everyone's seen the news. But that's going to be another key indicator of what Ineos are really like. I've told you guys, there's two indicators for me that really show whether Ineos are serious about taking Man United back to where they belong or whether they're just in it for the long-term gains. So number one for me was this January transfer window, because if any other owner was sat here and was serious about taking United back, you, as well as everybody else, everybody watching right now would agree that we are away from, we need a couple of signings to make this team cook and get into them Champions League spots. And we need to be back in Ruben Amorim. Even if we're like 50-50 with him right now, we've got to give him the opportunity. We don't want to have that excuse, because there are obviously people out there who are saying, look, Ruben Amorim needs the opportunity. And if he does, he needs to be given 100% backing. We can't say we back Ruben Amorim and then not give him anything either. So my argument is, yeah, either back him or get rid of him. One or the other. You can't have a halfway house and allow us fans to just sit here thinking, which one is it? Which one are we looking at here? Which one do we want? So yeah, yes, they do 100% still own the club. Yeah, look, I hope. Look, I really do hope we're getting smoke screened here. I really do hope that, because we've seen it in the summer transfer window where we heard that the PSR was a massive issue. United can't go out and sign anybody. There's no players on United's radar. And then boom, boom, boom. We got Mbeumo, we got Sesko, we got Kuna, we got Lemons. And, there was plenty of more money to be spent. And again, right now, if you're looking at the finances, United have got money to spend. There is no PSR. There's no restrictions on Man United going out there and buying more players in January. But from what we're hearing from Ruben Amorim's mouth, is he telling us the board's not backing him? And now in today's news, I'm hoping it's wrong. I'm hoping it's just absolute bollocks. But these types of news don't just come out of nowhere. Someone leaks this kind of stuff, and the amount of detail that they've got in the reports suggests to me that there is some substance to this. That yes, Wilcox doesn't agree with Ruben Amorim's formation and system and wants to play something different. And same thing with Barada. And there's a few others that feel like United need to change up and Ruben Amorim needs to change up. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. We've gone way over an hour. The 21 of you, I can carry on a little bit longer, but I mean that is the news today. I'm gonna do a preview show later on tonight. By the way, on the Leeds show, we're gonna discuss what lineups we're gonna have, what lineup Leeds might have, what way to conquer Leeds away from home, a team that's really started cooking in the last couple of months, really started playing some serious football. A team that I was thinking, right, is going to kind of get relegated, but they've clearly just literally switched on a switch, and they've started playing a lot better. I mean, like United do, but the problem with United switch is it turns on and off between one game and the other. So one game we're actually doing well, next game we're bloody playing shit again. So Newcastle game, someone clearly turned on that switch and said, right, okay, United are going to have a sick game today. And then, against Wolves, someone must have turned that switch off again. So something needs to be discussed. We're going to do that preview show later on. I want everyone in the house to make sure you hit the like, guys. And, of course, hit that subscribe. Join our fast-growing community. 2026 is going to be an absolute crazy year for this channel. And I want everyone else to be part of it. So thank you very much, Nish, Jim, everybody else, Abraham, Boylo, everybody who's been on the channel chatting away.